Good morning. Come on in and have a seat. Let me pour you some cold iced tea. Good morning. My name is Emmy, and this is the House of Chatter. And we are going over today. We are looking at the car incident and trying to figure out exactly what transpired in that car, whether it was what Lively says it happened or if something completely different happened. How is everybody this morning? Thank you for waiting for me. Happy Monday. Ooh, this is a nice one. I'm aiming that hot mess at Team Kaka. Let me just share my screen real quick. So I feel like this portion of the lawsuit wasn't, I don't know, explained very well, I guess you could say. But let's read her complaint. Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath discussed their personal sexual experiences and previous corn addiction and tried to pressure Miss Lively to reveal details about her intimate life, which I doubt even happened. But let's read what she says. During a car ride with Miss Lively, her assistant and driver, Mr. Baldoni, claimed to Miss Lively that he had been sexually abused by a former girlfriend, which he has since shared publicly. At the end of the story, Mr. Baldoni shared that it had caused him to re-examine his past. Excuse me, guys. He then said, "Did I always ask for consent? No. Did I always listen when they said no? No." Mr. Baldoni claimed this was an example of how we all have things for which we can learn and grow. Miss Lively was unsettled by Mr. Baldoni's suggestion that he had engaged in sexual conduct without consent. When Miss Lively exited the car, her driver immediately remarked that he did not want Miss Lively to be alone with Mr. Baldoni going forward. And then this goes further into it, and we'll do another video on this paragraph, but for context, I'll read it. On the first day of production, Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath described their past sexual relationships to Miss Lively, including that one of them used to hook up with a woman. Mr. Baldoni said that he had decided the woman wasn't the one, so then Mr. Heath had gotten together with her. Miss Lively found this description of passing along a woman to be disrespectful and disturbing. What do you guys think about that? That's a lot this Monday morning, but I don't think those two conversations exactly happened like that. What if those conversations again were misrepresented as it happens? Let's see what Jesse and Max says. And there you go. That's why she wanted her own drivers. She forced Wayfair to allow her to choose the drivers. Now we know why. Paid buyers. Okay, well, to be fair, it was negotiated in her offer, in her contract, that she has and I'll read this portion: travel slash accommodations and expenses to be negotiated in good faith, consistent with artist's stature, including without limitation, artist's exclusive designated car and driver, and exclusive designated security personnel. So she negotiated that, which is totally fair. I was looking at her initial disclosures. She did have two of them. She had a Brian Port, that's a Miss Lively driver. It doesn't have the attorney's address, is blacked out. But her other driver, her second driver, is up here somewhere. I swear it is. Robin, makeup. And I always like to go back to this because I like to see sometimes what she has said. And you know what relates to this, because this sometimes has some tidbits in it that you don't necessarily recognize either. But notice how there's two intimacy coordinators on this. There's Todd Black. There's Alexis Bledel. Buddy Booz. Did I go too far? Claire Ayub. Kevin Alexander. Kevin Alexander is being represented by Michael Gottlieb, the Count, the Purple Count. And according to him or her, this person has knowledge the party's alleged conduct, the actual discriminating, harassing, and other inappropriate or unwelcome actions, conduct, or comments made during production of the film, complaints or discussions about the work environment or conduct on the set of the film, the production, editing. I don't know why he would know why would he know anything about editing? Maybe they were in the same car as Colleen Hoover and them. Maybe. Editing, cut, and creative process associated with the film. Let me just catch up with the chat. If my computer likes me today. Hi, Jungle Jill and Max. I didn't realize they had the drivers' names. I really need those. Kevin Alexander is the driver. Yes, it appears that Kevin Alexander is the driver. I tried to see if he got deposed. I ran out of time. I'm so sorry. I was doing my prep a little bit late today. So Team Kaka sits in the back saying the things they want to driver to over here so he can attest to their plan. Left out, oh my God, I can't stand it. You know, that is a very good point. Maybe instead of planting stories in the media, they seeded seeds in conversations. Let's see. So this is a declaration of what happened in that car from Justin Baldoni. I'll make it a little bit bigger since I'm blind this morning. So this is a declaration. I, Justin Baldoni, pursuant to such and such, hereby declare as follows. I am a founder and co-chair of Wayfair Studios, LLC, and a defendant in this action. I respectfully submit this declaration in support of the Wayfair parties motion for summary judgment. So he submitted this in support of the summary judgment. This declaration is based on personal knowledge. I recall that at some point during the first phase of filming, I was in a car with Miss Lively discussing the themes of the book and the film It Ends With Us. During that conversation, I shared with Miss Lively my own experiences of having a romantic partner go beyond my personal boundaries of consent. I have written about the experience in my books, Boys Will Be Human 2022, at pages 234 to 236, and Man Enough, Undefining My Masculinity 2021 at pages 213 to 214, and discussed it in public talks. The relevant excerpts of my books are attached here too as Exhibit A and B. I declare under penalty of perjury that the foregoing is true and correct to the best of my knowledge and belief. Justin Baldoni. Why is there, I guess he was in Waco, Texas at this time on November 12th, 2025. I'm just going to check in with the chat real fast. I know drivers are provided even in small budget. Yes, Jungle Vet Jill. I believe it was Teamsters who often do movie productions. Hollywood, that even did the Eras tour. The only way that I know that is because my father was a Teamster, and he wanted to do movie sets and things like that. Betty Bamboozler and her perverted. I like that one. Is it Lori River Goddess? Welcome. We're here every morning, just gabbing about Blake Lively. Hi, Sandy. Is it Brianna? Blake is quite the tail twister. Well, she's a ball buster and a tail twister. She's just all things to everybody. Okay, I was going to actually show you the book or the excerpts of the book. This is his book. And I actually might purchase this for my child for Christmas. He wanted to know about adulthood and have some nuggets of knowledge and things like that. And I think this will be the perfect thing for him. So here's excerpts from the book. I won't go into it, but he does talk about his freshman college years. He was deposed on this incident. If you want, I can do another video on that, and we can look at the deposition and this and context that Blake Lively does not seem to care about. Sorry, I'm just reading this now. I don't think it's a bad book. Anyways, sorry, chat. I'm getting away from things. Justine Max. She's a woman of multitudes. Yes, she is. Thanks. I wondered what happened in the car. You know, when that came out in the news and in the media, that was one of the things where I was like, oh my God, is that true? Like, that was one of the things that I thought was true. The birth scene and what she said, what she was wearing, I didn't find that credible or true. I just But this, I thought it was true. The word multitude is now giving me an ick, like the word moist. Yeah, oh, she does have a way of connotations and changing things. Okay, this is my favorite document right here. This is the 56.1. This is Blake Lively doing her disputes, other disputes, whatever. And I was hoping that they went more into this, and I'm glad that they addressed it. Do you remember that Jamie Heath complained about not being questioned about the pornography addiction? Do you remember that in his deposition? He was upset because nobody questioned him, but they accused him in court papers and he wanted to clear his name. This, I think, similarly happened where they either ran out of deposition time or something happened. And, I don't know if it's a matter of lawfare on Blake Lively's part. Well, of course it is. She didn't want to allow a lot of time. She's cut into other depositions. She's done more depositions than the other side. It's like, hey, we're going to depose this person. No, you're not. I have to talk to them first just to make sure that they're going to say what I want them to say. And that's how I think this whole thing has gone, because I don't think she's expected it to go sideways like this and have so many people initially go against her. Which will be another video. We can see how everybody was initially against her, and then somehow there was this sudden change, right? Alex Sachs was afraid that she was taking over the movie. She didn't want that to happen. Blake Lively had to go apologize to Christy Hall because of that whole incident. So, but anyways, this is the 56.1. This is the response that Lively has to respond to. It says, Lively also alleges that during the first phase of filming, while riding in a car with Lively, her assistant, and her driver, Baldoni stated that he had not always obtained consent before X. And this is they use Exhibit 3, Second Amendment complaint. Looks like paragraph 93. And then it says Baldoni was not questioned about this incident during 2 days of depositions. He recalls a conversation with Lively in which he told her about his own experience of having a romantic partner go beyond his personal boundaries of consent. Declaration of Justin Baldoni, the one that we just read. Baldoni has written about this experience in his published books and discussed it in public talks. So this is the transcripts along with the declaration. And of course, Lively's going to black all of this out. Lively's subsequent conduct confirmed Baldoni's account in her protections demand. She objected to Baldoni referring to, and it's blocked out. This is from BL, so we don't know what's underneath here. Emphasis added in a subsequent text exchange, something. I don't even know if that's related, but I really wish that these redactions would be unredacted. And every day I try to figure out what is underneath there. Another video I want to cover is how much Giannetti is blacked out of all of this when she's the Sony executive. That needs to be a producer to watch all of the safety stuff. Let me just check in with the chat real fast. HG Tudor here on YouTube explained her power over the cast. It's a narcissistic skill set to paint reality for their victims. I still have to look into those videos. Oops. He has two playlists on them, one for Ryan, one for Blake, with dozens of videos describing how and why They are dangerous people. We need to check those out. We should do that as a group. Hi, everyone. The videos were interesting. Okay, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment. Yes, Angie needs to be talked about for sure. She does. And she, in Blake's 56.1, she's all over that document. And I was going to make a video basically that Blake Lively wasn't trying to silence Jamie Heath with the birth video. She was actually trying to silence Sony. And that'll be a different video. Like I've told you guys, there's so much documentation, exhibits, emails, text messages, news articles, depositions. There's thousands of pages that I am digging through that don't necessarily support 100% Blake Lively. They support, if you watch my videos, if you listen to my podcast before, StreamYard, they've all been leaning towards Justin Baldoni, and Justin Baldoni relies on truth. He relies on truth so much that in the world of PR, he's being mocked and made fun of because the truth does not win. And there's a text message, and I was reviewing the text messages between the complaint and New York Times, and that'll be another video just because I have to dig real deep and pay attention a little bit more. But they're joking in there. Melissa, Nathan, and Jennifer Abel are joking in there. And I think a lot of Justin Baldoni's and Wayfarer's weakness in this lawsuit is when they want the truth to be out there, which is a blessing and a curse because they're going to get dragged through the mud through this whole thing all the way until jury trial. Whereas if it was Blake, I think that she would want to settle. She wants to settle, but because the other party doesn't want to settle, it's never going to happen. But Blake Lively's side is a shark. Even though when they're lying or even though when it seems like they're misleading or having misstatements in their filings and their court docs, they're sharks. They don't care about the truth. The truth doesn't matter. They just get louder. You know what I mean? This shows just how much malicious Blake was. Yes, it does. It does. Because if she really cared about the cast and crew and the safety and everything, and if they really thought that Justin Baldoni was the predator on set, she had leverage in January and had stacked her court by then with Todd Black, Alex Sachs, and Angie Giannetti, where she could have overpowered them because it would have been Blake, it would have been Alex Sachs, it would have been Todd Black. Those are 3 versus 2. The tiebreaker goes to Blake's side with Sony on her side. So that's where she tried to gain the power and where they failed. And I know I'm getting off on a totally different tangent on this, but where they failed was their economic losses. All they had to do was get Steve Sarwitz and be like, hey, bring the receipts and why we're so over budget. That's your loss right there. Even though it's a success, they still lost money, and that was lost profits that they could have had if they had a lower budget. Let me see if I'm missing anything else. But basically, Lively is basically saying, the truth is he expressed his own experience, and that was it. Where is it? Am I going too far? I think I went too far. Anyways. There's a lot of black there. A lot of black. Here we go. So let me just make sure there isn't anything else to go over here. But she's disputing. These are just facts. Okay. And we'll also go over how much Sony is blacked out in this too, because Sony's blacked out everywhere in these documents. This is just sharing her daily turnaround time, where if she has to go like out of, if she has to go somewhere else other than Manhattan, her turnaround time is going to be like 11 hours versus 12, which I think is fair. Like she really got like a good deal in this movie with everything. And I really want to hear what this driver has to say. Let me see if I can dig into him a little bit. If you guys can bear with me, I'll try. Because I think he was deposed. Oops. Second amendment. It doesn't look like he was deposed. So I'm not seeing a transcript. I'm only seeing him on initial disclosures. Let's see if there's a difference. So maybe he didn't even do a declaration, which would suck because even Saladino did a declaration. Is this the same thing? The parties' alleged conduct, the actual discrimination, or harassing and other inappropriate unwelcome actions, conduct or comments made during production, complaints or discussions. Yeah, this all looks the same. So she didn't change her story from disclosure to disclosure. Colleen turned down an offer on her book immediately before she gave it to Justin. I want to know who she denied and were they. I'll look into that. Whoops. Girly says, I saw a video referring to Blake as the biggest loser this year in Hollywood. Was it on yours at Jesse and Max? I don't think so, but I'll promote the heck out of it. Love it. Love it. Laugh out loud. I support everyone, and sometimes I get things mixed up. I watched a lot of your videos yesterday. You're awesome. All right. So I guess that's what really happened in the car was what Justin Baldoni's version of it was. And I think it was just simply of this, his own experience. Let me look at one thing too, because I totally don't want to rob you guys of this tea, but I think there's one more thing he mentions, because they don't mention the car. They focus on college in his depositions, and that's why I couldn't find car or driver in his depositions. But hang on, let me see one thing. Where is it? I'll look it up. Here we go. Justin Baldoni, deposition. Let me see. College. Okay. College is here. want to make sure if there's any mention in this deposition about a car. Okay, let me share my screen with you guys. Okay, so this is Justin's deposition with Mr. Gottlieb. They do talk about college, right? So if we say college, if I spelled it right. Okay, they talk about college. They talk about losing his virginity, that he's on TV about it. He's calling it actual abuse. And he's basically sharing his story. Okay. So I think that's what happened. He was sharing his story and how he felt actually abused, right? Because, mind you, they're not talking about the car. They're just talking about his college experience. Because they didn't depose him. And this is in line with what he says. Had a romantic partner go beyond my personal boundaries of consent. So I think that's what really happened. And she twisted it and added some more tidbits to it. Kevin Alexander's on my list now. Laugh aloud, poor guy. Oh yeah, we should do a collab all about Kevin Alexander, because I didn't see. I'll look back at my depositions and all that, but I didn't see anything like that. Thank you, girly. Will pull wafer up out of Blake's mud trap. I do agree that it's a mud trap. And I do agree that Blake Lively has taken a lot of liberties with a lot of events that may or may not happened. And I think she would have been a little bit more credible if she had more events that were more in line with what she was stating, because everything that we've looked at so far has credibility issues on Blake's side. Poor Justin expected Blake to have the same wavelength as him. I don't even know what wavelength Blake has. Blake is off the chart. She's different. She's a different type of person, in my opinion. And I am just wondering at this point what exactly happened on Rhythm Section. I would love to know that. I would love to figure out or talk to those producers and that cast and crew. And if this does make it to trial, I hope that her behavior becomes a pattern of behavior that they can bring up. Like, if you guys follow the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial, Johnny Depp's team came up with a surprise witness against Amber Heard, and this person was a security guard or something from the airport, like years prior to meeting Johnny, I think. So the years before, years after. And she displayed the same behavior, and that person was able to go up on the stand and tell her experience with Amber Heard. So I'm hoping something, I'm sorry, something that happens again. She's deep as a puddle. She's quite shallow, isn't she? So that is my little presentation on exactly what happened in the car. I really do think it's more Justin Baldoni's version of events versus Blake Lively's, but also her assistant was in the car, and I believe her assistant was deposed. So whenever that document gets unsealed, maybe we'll shed more light on the car ride, the birthing video, though we already know what happened with the birthing video. Come on, guys. And that's why she wanted sanctions. She's shielding Sony. She's not shielding herself. She's shielding Sony from being deposed and testifying. That was the whole point of the sanctions, in my opinion, which I'll put in another video. And my ADD is going woo all over the place. Blake's probably, oh my goodness. Okay. Blake's probably a dude. Her parents probably wanted a girl. So they dressed him as a girl and cut the Adam's apple. Now he's experiencing a psychological meltdown due to menopause. That could be a theory. Another theory could be, have we thought about postpartum? Maybe she was so severely postpartum that maybe Ryan Reynolds took advantage of her and laid into her. And then all of this happened. Or maybe they just had a crush, or maybe Blake Lively had a crush on Justin Baldoni. Ryan Reynolds figured it out. And after working with Jen Garner, maybe Ryan was like, yeah, I get to work with my wife's, what is it, other woman? Maybe, yeah, and maybe Jen got to Ryan. I don't know what happened. Or maybe it was just a big giant kerfuffle and everybody wanted cash and money and fame and fortune. Anyways, I will see you guys tomorrow. I am not sure what I'll cover tomorrow. I think I'm going to cover more of Judge Lyman's motion to dismiss. I'm going to start working on the New York Times and their text messages and who is really responsible for that. And I think I have an idea. I don't think it's Blake, as a hint, but it could be. Which would mean if it was Blake or if it was New York Times, it would be bad juju for everybody. But anyways, everybody have a happy Monday. Have a happy holiday. Stay safe out there. I know there's some wicked weather on the horizon for some of you. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next time. Bye, house guests.